Hello. Today I wanted to talk about magic, and this is partly because I'm reading The Chicken Kabbalah by Lon Milo Duquette, aka Rabbi Lamed Ben Clifford. And I just feel like talking about magic because magic is fucking real and it's important. Many things are going to happen before I start this video. The first one, I don't think anyone can hear me. The first one is I'm going to show you my outfit. Hawaii. Peanuts characters. I'm also going to get my carrot juice because I want carrot juice. So, magic. Whenever people talk about magic, before they're skeptical or even if they're like so totally into it, there's a really big part of it that's like, for even a split second, you experience a feeling of truth. And that's what people hear when they hear motivational quotes. It's the same feeling that you get when you hear motivational quotes, when you get a really good piece of advice, or when you remember something or a new piece of information that was revealed to you that makes you see the situation differently, or maybe even a change of perspective, or when you hear pieces of old advice from yogis or gurus or old mages or ancient mysticism or books from the past. It's like there's this feeling of truth. And magic essentially, well, I can't actually define magic. The first rule of magic is that you can't define magic. But I want to talk about that feeling because it's so important, because that's what's bringing everybody together in this unity in the first place. And it's so crazy and undefinable and so expansive and so weird and random as absolute fuck that it's really hard to, as a magic practitioner, explain it to somebody who's just newly into magic. But it's just really, really hard because TikTok and like Instagram and social media have this whole thing of like baby witches and introductory magic and all this shit and like what to do, what never to do. But all of that is just because of how it uniquely impresses your own subconscious. For example, in witchcraft, there's a thing where you fold something towards you and then you bring it counterclockwise each time you rotate it to fold it towards you. You do that 3 times. It's not because the universe has a magical generator in the invisible distance that's like, oh, well, she did that 3 times, ding, 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 she put it towards herself, ding, 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 okay, perfect, and she wrote her attention on it, and now she's gonna burn it, and now she mastered all these 3 steps, and then her wish may come true. It's not because of that's working. It's because in your subconscious, for years throughout our childhood and our upbringing, we know that clockwise is the way that brings order to us and that we know how things work, and counterclockwise is also symbolic of something being backwards. We know that bringing things towards us means that it's coming towards us, and putting things away means they're going away. And so it's not that we've hacked the universal Rubik's Cube and got it in the perfect little like algorithmic sequence that it's everything just going to start magically working out for us now. It's kind of like this was enough to impress my subconscious. This ritual that I created on my behalf for my specific intention changed something emotionally in me, or I did it for a certain like subconscious shift, and now I can see that shift even if my conscious brain can't register it at all. Even if my conscious brain is entirely against it, my subconscious, which has been evolutionarily evolved to adore rituals, especially as humans, especially as mammals, is like, ritual, I am impressed. I can either let go, I can embody, I can burn bridges, I can do all sorts of things because I'm impressed. all magic and really actually anything entirely in human life at all ever involves some sort of impressing the subconscious. I really like reading the Kabbalah book because like there's one line about how the very first thing that happens is desire, and then that desire is magic, and then there's a bunch of other steps after that comes after the desire to create that magic. So even like he talks about how somebody getting him a glass of water is a magical act because the desire had to be rooted within him through the thirst, through the body receptors that are so small but still have consciousness inside of them to trigger thirst. And then your brain, which has receptors and all sorts of things that are just like, okay, I need water. However, I'm presenting, I'm going to ask someone to give me the water. And there's magic in the dynamics between you and the person giving you water. The entirety of the motion of like who they are as a person going to obey you to give you the water because they want to give you the water. It makes no sense, but like it does. And then it's like the muscles in our eyes will contract to go find the glass, and then the muscles in our arms will contract to go put the water out, and then the law of gravity will make the water fall down. And then because we've evolved to drink H2O on this planet to survive, we're going to drink it and replenish the exact same receptors and things that made us have the desire in the first place, that made us be able to do all of this in the first place. And people are like, this is not a magical act, this is you getting water. But just because you can explain it with science doesn't mean it's not magical. And just because you call it science doesn't mean it isn't magical. Science is deeply magical and so fantastic and cool. But going back to subconscious mind, I'm gonna first take a sip. There's a lot of topics I want to get into, and I don't know why I made this video so sporadically, but it's important. Okay. This carrot juice is magic, and you might be thinking, okay, this bitch is insane. If you're gonna study magic, you're gonna go a little insane. It's part of the initiation process. Okay, so the basis of magic involves impressing the subconscious, but I want to talk about things that also suppress the subconscious that aren't magic related. Therapy, talking to a friend, doing a stupid side quest for some reason, grief rituals. So many things will do that. Like, you could be in bed for weeks, depressed and unable to get up and move, and then your friend will call you, and then you'll explain your problems, and then they'll say something that your friend would say, and all of a sudden the entire world is 12 times lighter. All of a sudden the shower isn't so daunting. All of a sudden making your bed actually feels like a fun thing to do. All of a sudden you remember that you wanted to get those new shoes. All of a sudden there's like a fire in you again, and it's because of just the ritualistic experience of talking to a friend and sharing connection, and how it like will change you emotionally. And it's so cool. And like there's so many rituals also. Like there's one trending right now, like a Native American ritual where they process grief through collecting rocks on their back for every single thing that represents the grief, and then they carry it from the river somewhere else, I think, and they place each rock down, and or they keep some even, and it's like been like apparently 6 times better than like talk therapy or whatever the hell else in processing grief. And that's because humans love ritual, and humans love ritual because the subconscious mind loves ritual. Your conscious brain will literally be like, this is stupid, this rock is itching my back, I fucking hate everything. And your subconscious brain is like, one rock, losing mom. Other rock, who am I without mom? Third rock, I can't be the baby anymore. Fourth rock, what if I don't remember her smile anymore? And then you just keep, that was dark, but it's like you just keep going, right? And your subconscious is getting it, taking all of it in. There's so many moments where I'm in the middle of a group setting or a conversation, and like the second that I become present and slip out back into my body and not into the conversation or into my thoughts about my clothing being itchy, or if everybody is vibing with what I said or whatever, and I'll notice like all the breaks I have in conversation. I'll notice how many times I hesitate, how many times I am noticing somebody do something else, my secret judgment that I didn't even know I was judging, all of that the subconscious is taking in. And so magic can be many things related to that. It can be digging the subconscious outwards. I feel like a great way to do this is through EFT tapping. I just watched a horror movie, so I'm a little bit afraid. You can dig out the subconscious through journaling, through pattern recognition in your behaviors. You can also just observe reality, and that's what manifestation, a lot of manifestations creators talk about. They talk about how when you observe reality, you can see how your subconscious is actually functioning, because like if you're constantly having experiences that are really specific repetitive patterns where people are just like, say, let's for example say they're just, no one gives you money back, and you're put in this position where you have to be like, why am I being disrespected right now? Why am I like, why do I have to advocate for myself right now? Why do I have to remind people? But then your subconscious is propelling this outward. Your subconscious loves that they're not paying you back, because the exact thing that is enshrouded with from your childhood of having to shamefully ask for money or whatever is something that it's like wrapped itself around, and it's like, yay, we get to do this again. And just the conscious is like, oh my fucking god, I hate this. And then the subconscious is like, thank god I get to propel this experience outwards again and again to reinstate what I already believe. And so through like journaling, or like through being present with yourself and understanding all of these things, or even looking to your reality for evidence about what might be going on within, you can be like, there's an emotion here that needs to be explored, because I can either dredge my subconscious out and understand it, and then maybe nurture it or challenge it in some ways. There's so many things you can do, and that will give me a different experience, and that is what we call magic. And it's also just impressing it in general. So this, I'm going to show my protection jar. Thumbnail moment. Maybe the sigil. This is my protection jar. This is what it looks like. I'm going to tell you what's inside the projection, Freudian slip. I mean, everything really is a projection. Anyways, this is my protection jar. This is really, really cool. I'm going to explain to you why it's cool. So firstly, I have a sigil in Latin, and then on the flip side, you can't really see it, but oh fucking hell, this is hard to see. So this is a wooden part that has a Latin, and underneath it there is, oh yeah, you can see it. There's a sigil for, I think it's one of the stars. I forget which one it is, but it's, the Latin is Regulus, Regidus, Leo, Calestis with a pentagram, and then the sigil is like an M with like, anyways, it's cool. But I got it from a book on witchcraft that has never ever failed me. It's called Crohn's Books of Spells and whatever, but like this is like a talisman, so I would burn it into a circle. And the sigil was for calling upon like the star of strength, I believe, and so that's why the word Leo's in it. That's why like Regulus, Regidus, like I don't know, I feel like it has something to do with strength. Anyways, so this jar was for protection. There are flowers that I got from a walk, but specifically I talked to those flowers. I felt like I needed to talk to them. I felt like they called to me. When I say I felt like they called to me, it doesn't mean that I was like, ooh, I need to go outside and find things that call to me, which you can do, but I uncontrollably was drawn to this flower. And the flower was near a lot of like rotting garbage and stuff, but it was blooming, right? And I was like, strength. No wonder my subconscious was called to it. Then I have like some sort of like, I think it's like a chestnut, but there's 3 nails hammered inside of it. I don't know why I did this. I just wanted to nail 3 nails inside of a chestnut, and I collected it. Then there's obsidian, because protection. It's just what I know. There's selenite for clear energy. There's salt everywhere for protection on the bottom. There's rosemary for that as well. There is red pepper, because I like it when my protection's a little bit like, and it fights back. I took a twig, and then like every single time, like, you know, like the twig like separates, so I'm just gonna bring out this twig. So this is a twig that I have. So imagine that none of these little guys are here, and imagine like every single time the twig goes off into a different corner, or like sometimes they have like a little like nub and then they go off to the different corner. I broke it at each part of that twig, but then while I broke it, I really felt the snap. I really felt like my fingers break it. I really felt the sound. And with each sound, I felt myself getting calmer and calmer and calmer. And like, I wasn't even thinking about protection, but I was like, this somehow in my brain is protecting me, and I just feel that it is. Then there is an ibuprofen in there, because pain relief. And I forgot, but there's a bunch of rotting material in there. So there's mulch, there's twigs, there's the flower. Hasn't actually rotted a lot yet, but there's also mushrooms in here. The mushroom is long gone. He is gross and gone. Oh, I can see it. But yeah. And then I have a sigil, and the sigil was not created through alphabets or numbers. I feel like if I did that through that, it might have been stronger. But what happened was I imagined a feeling of deep safety and protection, and then at that heightened emotional state, I closed my eyes and had my hand scribble down whichever motion it wanted to go, and then that made that. Then I put a bunch of black wax around it, but then I didn't only want to do black, and so I added a bunch of other colors as well. And then I lit a black candle that my ex-boyfriend made for me, and it was a hexagonal pattern, and it burned down. And when it burned down, it was only black, so it wasn't gold, but it left down this shape. And crowns are a really big part of my spiritual practice. And like when I did a cockroach spell to rid my entire building of cockroaches, I made a beaded cockroach and I put a crown on it to show the creature that I did respect it. And so for me, a big part of respect is crowns, a big part of protection is crowns, because they signify respect. If I can be in a situation with respect, I know that I'm safe. The second that there is a disrespect, it's like, no, don't feel safe anymore. So I really like that I burned it to that, and then I put a bunch of gold paint on it and made it a crown on top of this protection jar. Is there a magical generator machine that's like, well, she added all the right herbs, crystals, flowers, sigils, and whatever, and so that's why this jar works? No! This jar works because the ritualistic nature of making this jar appealed to the caveman inside of me that's like, ritual. Burn flower, salt. Herb, rock. Scribble. Safe. Feel safe. That's what happened in my brain, and I wasn't conscious of that at all. But that's what happened. And then this jar was made. And now it is protecting me. And the more and more that it rots and eats everything inside of this jar, the more and more I feel protected. Isn't it perfect? It's probably not going to rot, though, because of how much salt is in there. But I still like that it's there. There's also probably a bunch of other random shit in it. But yeah, the purpose of showing you this jar was try to show the impression of the subconscious mind. It is so important. There are so many texts that say the conscious mind is the male and the subconscious mind is the female. And when the conscious is able to impregnate or able to penetrate the subconscious mind then gives birth to that reality that you're experiencing, which again is just magic. So I made a video before about the god and the caveman, and I talked about the god as in like all the conscious work we do for magic, and then the caveman is all the ritualistic work we do for magic. And both of them combined are what make a beautiful practice. I feel like, why is my nose so itchy? Probably magic in that too. There's a fucking angel in my goddamn nose making it itchy. Anyways, so the caveman and the god, they are both you. The caveman is our physical body that has sex and shits and vomits and has to be in a caloric deficit to lose weight. Don't entirely believe that. But it loves ritual. It loves the art. It loves the physical. It's truly expansive in all things physical. And then the God within us, which is in our mind, I call it God because we're one of the only species where our consciousness is something that we can experience ourselves. So everything is just consciousness, but human beings are uniquely able to experience that consciousness through reflection and through other people. And it's really, really cool. That's why the very first thing, like if you get a species to be conscious of itself, the first thing it's going to ask is why. And that's where like I feel like all human psychology and philosophy comes from. We become conscious of ourselves and then we ask why. It's beautiful. And so that God consciousness is also what I think Jesus represents. Like, I don't think it was like actually like to worship this one dude. Like, Jesus is us, if you get it. And it's like, I think that he just represents human consciousness. And that's why like the death of Christ also can represent the death of ourselves and the rebirth of ourselves, and how he was reborn again, and then and like more godly even, because he was like, hey, I died, now I'm awake again, y'all did not expect that. But also like the birth of Jesus, like it's like immaculate conception. I don't think it was supposed to mean this random woman just gave birth and no one impregnated her. I think it was the immaculate conception of ideas. And like I feel like majority of like religious texts was actually also the book the Law and Milo Decret also talks about how the Bible was likely some sort of secret hidden language between a group of very few people, and they had all of these words and all of these texts put together, and they were all symbolic of certain things relating to magic and relating to consciousness and relating to psychology even. And then some random bitch got their hands on it and ruined the world forever. Not gonna lie, I fucking believe it, because of how many passages in the Bibles can be broken down to make more sense and to make numerological sense, psychological sense, spiritual sense, and like how all of it is just symbolic and how people have taken it ridiculously out of hand. What was the point of this? Why was I saying this? I feel like the point could have been magic was symbolic. Anyways, I'm really glad that I'm kind of insane during this video, because that is also indicative of magic, I feel. So, oh my god! The fattest fucking moth just flew at me. That was terrifying. But that feels like an omen. Hey, bro. Just trying to help the masses. Go tell your friends. Anyways, so what I wanted to talk about was the importance of the subconscious mind. How the subconscious impregnates the conscious, impregnates the subconscious, and then that gives birth to reality. That itself is magic. I feel like magic also has no labels. I really hate the term baby witch, and I hate all of witch talk. I don't hate all of it. I can't hate all of anything. It's beautiful and magical in itself. But you have been doing magic since the day you were born. Your birth was magic. You being an egg cell inside of your grandma before she even gave birth to your mom was magic. All of it's magic. You can't be a baby witch because you've always been a witch. When you keep attracting these cycles of awful partners because somewhere in your childhood your subconscious impressed itself with being abandoned, it would magically bring out this experience again. When you have your eggs and toast in your smoothie in the morning, but then you have to wait 20 minutes after lunch or whatever to go have your exact meal or whatever the fuck you do, it's all magic. It's all ritualistic in nature. So you're not a baby witch, you've just always been doing it. But it has to be uniquely you. So subconscious, important. You've always been a witch. It also has to be uniquely you. You can't always look at magical spells and shit. You gotta also at times make your own practice and do really weird shit. And the more really weird shit you do for your spells that feels right to you for some reason, the crazy ass things that are gonna happen. Like, you gotta do you. Like, that's why like there's some people who like will never look at any sort of spirituality things in their life. They'll never read a single Kabbalistic text. They'll never look at Latin or Hebrew or fucking nothing. They have no understanding of psychology. They don't want to better their lives at all. But all they're doing is literally following their notions and following their will and following what makes them light up inside. And they've literally created the most magical, most beautiful life ever. There are people who are like, I just got dumped and I really feel like going to this lake for some reason, or I really feel like turning left in this alleyway and walking down this like street full of merchants for some reason, and I'm led to this and led to this and led to that and this and this and this, and it somehow changed my life. And right after that, I ran into the love of my life, or right after that, I ran into my long-term best friend, or I discovered this deep sense of myself that has just completely changed the way I see myself, and I feel like I'm reborn into somebody confident, more stronger, more me. And it's like, these people are not, they're doing the most beautiful thing of all, which is just going to where their soul or where their God self leads them. And it's so cool and beautiful. And I always wonder, like, how these people build such amazing, beautiful lives with, like, the most, like, easy, with the most ease about money, and the most ease with their partners, and the most ease with their animal friends and nature and all of it, and their body and their health. And it's like their sense of safety, and it's just literally because they've been following themselves and following like what is right for them. And even if it doesn't have anything to do with magic, it just has to do with safety or wants. Like, even people who destructively destroy their lives and then that leads them to some sort of spiritual clarity, that is fucking fantastic, rather than just trying to be perfectly spiritual or trying to be perfectly zen or masterful. It's not a roach. Never mind. I was a roach for a second. It's not. All of, like, that is a beautiful magical act in itself. Like, literally, like, when you realize that all of it is beauty and that all of it is angels and that all of it is magical, it's crazy. I always wondered my whole life, like, how I've just had to have really, really healthy hair. I've always had really clear skin. I've always had amazing luck with money. And it's like, or like, I've for a long time, like, my conscious brain has been like, I hate myself and nobody likes me and everybody is like, everybody thinks I'm weird and why did I get a throat tattoo and all sorts of things. But it's like, when it comes to exploring and playing, like, I want to go play, I want to go explore, I want to go talk to the flowers, I want to go do this weird outfit or make my own phone case or do all the shit that feels like me and that brings me closer to me. And it's like, throughout that, so much luck and beauty and magic and just crazy synchronistic events, and like running into people who are like exactly the same level as me. Like, it's just been like so expansive and so beautiful. But it's just because, like, I'm not asking for the rules, because it's all me anyways. Like, you know that quote that's like, you don't see life as it is, you see life as you are? Yeah, that's why life is fucking cool as fuck, because it's all been me anyways. So you don't have to actually go and find out all these things to do, and it's cooler when you do. I will say that. Looking for stuff is really, really cool. I'm really happy that I'm learning Hebrew right now. The Hebrew alphabet is really, really cool. And I'm also really happy to have read all those magical books that I did, because they were really fucking hard to read. They were really hard to read. Like, for people who are constantly like skeptical and like you woo-woo, you batshit crazy people, to magicians and witches and mages and mystics, the work that they write is really hard to read. It's really complex. And I'm really happy that I did all of that, because it makes me really excited and it makes me more crazier, you know? It makes me more insane, but that makes me more magical and so cool. And so I don't really know what this video is for or why I made it, but take a couple screws out. This life is yours. And that doesn't mean, I don't mean that in the egoic sense. Oh my god. I swear the second I press this video off, my nose is not going to itch even a little bit. I don't mean that in the egoic sense. Like, this life is yours and you have to make, and you gotta get up at 6 and chug green shit and vomit and have your stomach look like a cave and own your life and show the hate. Like, I mean this in such a complex and insane way. You only experience you. Your magical practice is going to be different than everyone else's completely. Your subconscious impressions are going to be different than anybody else completely. The things that matter to you uniquely. The things that somebody else did to get something might not work for you, because you have to do it the way that it has to go for you. because you are all there is. You are the only thing that you will ever experience. You will never experience a future. You will never experience a past. You will only experience thoughts of the future and thoughts of the past. You won't even experience the present until like right now. Like it doesn't last longer than a second. You only experience you. And if you can really embrace that and the beauty of that into your craft, and then finally stop asking people for the rules, especially if you have an air moon. I have an air moon, and if you intellectualize it, you're not going to do it. Just do it randomly. Magic is random. It makes no sense. If you need to tap your feet 3 times and then tie your shoelaces together, untie them, click your jaw, and then tie them back together again to go past your test, that's what you need to do for you. And you're gonna get a 97. Okay? I feel like this video is so stupid, but no, I don't. I've been seeing a lot of bald eagles everywhere, and I'm a Scorpio, and I finally feel like I've released a lot of junk. And so I'm glad I'm seeing them everywhere. They've all been being attacked by crows, though, because, I don't know, my dad keeps pointing it out, and now I see them everywhere. A bald eagle being chased down by crows. What am I saying? But I feel like it's cool and symbolic. It feels like growth. Look into the world. Ask why. When you care about something, ask why. When you click a video and you're about to watch the video, before you watch the video, write down what you thought this video was going to give you and why it sparked your interest. Do random crazy shit that makes no sense to anybody but you, because you're the only one who knows how it feels authentically for you. It doesn't matter if texting your fucking ex looks bad to everybody else. You know how you feel, and if that's going to lead you to a path of getting treated even worse by them to then lead to your ascension, that's just what the fuck you gotta do. Okay? I can already feel, never mind. But so yeah, I encourage you to go into finding your own practice and doing whatever it is you want to do, and finding materials that make you happy for whatever spells you want to do. And with my nose itching, I'm going to say goodbye to this random video that I made. Anyways, happy days.